Good evening. This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming at you with another live stream. This topic, um, just give me a moment to kind of let this simmer a little bit. This topic is near and dear to my heart, and I wanted to piggyback on another content creator. His name is DS1 Ross, and I'm not trying to be an echo chamber for him, but it was something that he said in one of his videos where I was like, I want to put my input on this because he had spoke something that was straight facts. And what he talked about was how men within a certain age range, like he used the example of 40 years old. He said men that are 40 years old, single with no children, they have to deal with stereotypes of people calling them gay or whatever because they don't have any children and they're single and they having a difficult time with finding a relationship. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because I find myself in that situation currently. I turn 41 soon. I don't want to give my actual birthday, but I turn 41 soon. Excuse me. Um, I have no children. I'm single. I was married at one point, but I'm divorced. And, I've been bombarded with a lot of negative stereotypes, a lot of insults, a lot of people trying to put me down because I'm not allowing myself to fit into the position that they thought that I should go ahead and do because that's what they felt was best for me. Even though I'm a grown man who's an adult and we all live in a society that's supposed to be uh, full of freedom and equality, and every man is supposed to man and woman, grown, are supposed to be able to make their own choices and decisions. They can take suggestions from people, but if they don't feel that suggestion is good for them, they have the option of not doing it. But you have individuals who will try to shame individuals and call them names and isolate them and ostracize them, spread rumors and lies just because they're not going along with the program. Because one thing that I've had to learn, and I learned this the hard way, is that we live in a society that's is starting to go from being an individual uh, society to a society that has a hive mentality. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that, you know, with things like social media and, the new technologies out here, we are very connected, more connected than we ever been in society up to this point. And on top of that, um, we have access to each other way more than what we used to. Like, you see the dating apps and you see the trends that's happening where most of the women are going for that top 20% of men while the rest are pretty much fending off like for the leftovers at the bottom. And even then, they're not having success. And you see people that want to go out and want to socialize, and even when they're doing that, it's still difficult for them. And it's because like some people, it works better when things are organic than when it's being forced upon them, or if they feel like they're obligated to talk to somebody. Like if they don't want to talk to a person, they just don't want to talk to them. And you have a lot of women that's like that, but you have men that's like that as well. Like if they don't want to talk to a certain person, they don't want to. And we have been brought up and programmed to where our focus, the majority of our focus is on women and getting laid. And it's been a very detrimental thing to happen to a lot of men. Instead of focusing on making ourselves happy, doing what's best for us, and getting ourselves into a good position. So when we have the opportunity to find somebody, we'll have everything that we need in order to attract that person, not just looks, because I understand that looks are important, but that's not the only thing that's important. And it doesn't matter like if you're making a whole bunch of money. But as long as you can show that you're responsible, that you know how to manage money, you know how to dress to your best ability, you know how to, take care of yourself to where you're not looking disheveled and you don't look like you just slept on the side of the street. Uh, it'll boost up your opportunities. But you have a lot of individuals out here with unrealistic expectations. And I will say this, that there are some women who have very high expectations, but they shame men who they think are beneath them if they feel as though their expectations are too high. Like, say for instance, a guy likes a certain type of woman, like a certain body type, and he's always like that certain type of body type, just like she's always like that. But it's okay for her to have her preference, but that man isn't supposed to have his own preference. And you have individuals that will try to use language like, oh, this man, he's only doing that because he's trying to hide who he really is. He's only going after these women because he don't want the world to know that he has this or that going on, or that he's possibly gay, or he's doing this and doing that. And I know that personally, when I was in my early 20s, I dealt with that that shaming language, you know, like it was like they knew that because of how I am and how I looked and how I presented myself, that it was in the environment that I grew up in, it would be hard for me to find a woman that's attractive. So they would be like, well, he just should be happy with whatever he get, and we gonna try to just throw anything in his way, even if he don't like it. And if she's willing to give it to him and he's not willing to take it, we gonna try to mash this dude's confidence down, his self-esteem down as much as we can, to where either he does what it is that we want him to do, or we silence him and we put him on the outskirts where nobody would want to listen to him or want to care about what he has to say. And you have this that happens, and I went through it all throughout my young adulthood. And I found myself in situations where I was just trying to prove that I wasn't what was being said about me. Like I wanted to prove that, hey, I'm not gay. I like women. But at the same time, the women that I actually liked or want to be with, I wasn't getting any real attention from them. And I understand that people say like you should like whoever likes you, but if a person doesn't find that woman attractive, it's nothing that he can do about it. Like when I was younger, I used to force my body to mingle with these women that I knew that I wasn't attracted to. Like I would do things like drink till I got drunk to where it could be where I could be tolerable a little bit more. And once I got older and I was still trying to use these methods, the mind has a way of just like giving in, because it's like, no, you don't want to do this, so it ain't happening. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you use, what methods you try to use, we just ain't going anymore. And I reached that point. I reached that point at 37 where I could no longer like get my body to cooperate if in my mind I wasn't sexually attracted to a woman. My body was like, well, your mind says you're not sexually attracted to her, so nothing is going to happen. And once I got to that point, I'm like, there's nothing I can do about it. But I kept getting these same type of women trying over and over again. Like I had a couple of relationships within this period. They didn't work because the person didn't really respect me for who I was as a person. So it wasn't going to work anyway. So they would still try to present these other type of women that they knew I was not attracted to. And I've already had a lot of experience with women at this point. Like I'm 40 years old. I don't want to be I don't want to seem like I'm bragging or anything like that, but I've had my fair share of women and I don't want to talk about my sexual experiences in public like this, especially not on YouTube. But with that being said, I just told them I couldn't do it. And then the whole "you're gay" thing just popped right back up. And I'm like, damn, all these years that I've been trying to prove that I wasn't something, they're still going to say it anyway because I'm not doing what it is that they want me to do. And once it got to my head that it didn't matter what I did, it didn't matter what I said, like everybody is going to have a perception of you and they're going to have a perception of where you fall in the hierarchy in society, that I just had to accept that people are just going to be assholes like that. They're going to be assholes towards people like me, who has a difficult time, who has a certain preference in women, who probably have certain issues going on. Even if I'm working on myself, like I spent so much time trying to prove myself to individuals because I was chasing being accepted. But I realized that that acceptance wasn't going to come, period, because I wasn't going along with the agenda. And on top of that, like, being accused of being gay and like I have associates, from when I was in college and other avenues of life that I know are gay or lesbian. So first and foremost, I want to say I have nothing against anybody within the LGBT community. Um, I know my beliefs in the Bible. You know, it is what it is. Like I can't say that I'm fully accepting of anything when the Bible says what things going wrong in my life that I know I got to correct. So I don't want it to seem like I just don't like certain people because of the way that they choose to live their lifestyle. If they choose to live their lifestyle and that's what make them happy, I say go at it. Just please do not try to get me on board with what it is that you're doing with your personal life. And like I said, I don't even want to talk about my personal life. The only thing I want to say is that I know that I'm a heterosexual man. Yes, I'm 40. Yes, I have no children. And yes, I'm single. With that being said, because I'm all those things, why is it that you use language of you must be gay or something must be wrong with you because I'm not in a relationship or I'm not even talking to anybody? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what's happened in my past. You don't know what I'm working through right now to build myself up to be a good catch for somebody who I actually desire to be with. I mean, it's a lot of factors that go on, but I really feel bad for the people in the LGBT community. And the reason being is because it's like, that these people are using this language towards men like me that may have issues with finding a good woman for them personally. and they want to lump me along with you, and you're just trying to be yourself, and they're using you as a way to shame a man like me. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that you should use other people to shame a person because they're not going along with what it is that you think that they should do. But it happens quite often, and it's been accepted in the community, especially in the black community, to do that to men. And I know that a lot of people don't want to keep hearing about this, but it's a reason why it keeps getting brought up. And the reason why it keeps getting brought up is because it's a major issue. And the reason why it's a major issue is because it's causing a lot of men like me to just say, screw it. Screw trying to help these people out. Screw trying to be a part of the community. Let me get my passport, even though I can't fully escape yet, because I still got obligations that I got to take care of here, and I got a job that I got to do here. But let me get my passport and enjoy my life outside of this asylum that I currently find myself living in. And I see nothing wrong with doing that, because even though it doesn't fix everything that's going wrong, it at least helps a person with understanding life. Like, I'm not living in a fantasy. That's one thing that I want to say first and foremost. I'm not living in a fantasy. I understand the risk and the dangers of traveling. I understand that some of these women don't really like us, they only want our money. I understand that issues that we have here is going on in these other countries. But at the same time, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just sit here, deal with the shaming language, be by myself, get frustrated all the time, possibly go off on the wrong person? Or you want me to look for different avenues to where I can, like, be okay? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not and before you get into, oh, it's just all about having sex or getting some pussy, it ain't just about that. Like, I'm a man who likes women, so of course I want sex. Like, that's first and foremost, that's me being honest. Men, heterosexual men, are going to want to have sex with women. That's being honest. But at the same time, men also want to be able to be around somebody that's being comforting to him. He want to be in an environment where he can be free and relax himself, where it's not, you know, what you don't understand is that we as men go through a constant pressure and constant reminders of where we're not meeting up with standards of society every single day. And we do our best. Sometimes we do above and beyond. And even when we do above and beyond and do our best, it's not appreciated. You know why? Because that's what men are supposed to do. So, with that being said, you cannot expect men that go through all this pressure and all this stuff to, just take all this abuse on a daily basis and not have them have an issue to where they want to snap off, or have an issue where they like, man, if I don't do something, I'm going to end up either dead or in jail or in a mental institution. And Lord forbid anybody ends up in that situation, because it happens so much. And the reason why it happens so much is because all these individuals want to sit up there and nitpick at this person every single day, over and over again, and keep on poking the bear, keep reminding him, oh, we don't want you. But at the same time, we want you to do more for us and not expect anything from us. Oh, the women don't want you, but You can have this woman that we know you don't like, and you better do it, or we gonna keep poking the bear at you, or we gonna isolate you, and we gonna make sure everybody hear all the negative things that we have to say about you, even if it's not true. We're gonna make it to where it is true because we're gonna make sure they hear it over and over again. And so once that rumor builds up to the point to where everybody thinks that it's true, it's gonna go ahead and everybody gonna be like, oh, it must be true. And that's what happens. Like it's been a lot of experiments that show that that's what happened. And me being an older man and understanding what's going on, I'm like, I have to look for a different avenue in order to keep myself at peace. Now, I don't have any children, so I have no reason to help the community out in the way that they want me to. Like, if I choose to be with a woman with a child or with children, that's on me. But if I don't find a woman that's suitable enough for me that has children that I'm willing to be with, that's actually likes me as well, then it's not gonna happen. And I like I would think that me reaching this age without children would show that, hey, I am somewhat responsible. Or maybe it's showing that the women that I've possibly gotten pregnant throughout my life has gotten rid of the children without letting me know, because that is a possibility. And I pray to God that didn't happen, that women got pregnant by me and got rid of the child and didn't let me know, because I would be devastated. Like, for so many years, I wanted to be a father. I wanted to be a good dad. I wanted to raise a family. I wanted to do good and budget my money and save up money for later and make sure things get passed down and, build a legacy like that. So it would be devastating to me if I was to hear something like that. Like I got a nephew right now that I'm looking as my heir because I don't have any children of my own, and I at this point in my life, I'm not sweating it like I used to anymore. Like, do I still want to get married and have children? Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you and say that I don't. But I'm being realistic about what's going on around me in society, how people interact with each other in today's society, and I'm saying to myself, what are the chances of it happening? And it's slim to none, and slim is damn near dead as far as what it is that I'm seeing. And I'm just giving a realistic viewpoint of it. And some people will say that that's negative, but that's your opinion. I'm traveling overseas, so if I do end up having a family or raising children, it might happen overseas, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I see nothing wrong with that. I see that as being positive because I did what I needed to do to be proactive in order to get my life in order. But what I really want to say is that, like, the shaming language, I know it's not is that they want to say, whether it's positive or negative. But I will say this is that the shaming language and the accusations and the falsehoods and spreading the rumors and all this negativity is going to further the divide that we see that's going on in society. Because right now I'm at a point to where I'm saying, okay, they want to say that I'm gay, so be it. I'll just have to accept that because I know that they want to just tear me down, make me feel this small. So I'll do whatever it is that they want me to do and have my head down and just be a utility in the way that they saw me as from the beginning. But my eyes are open, so I know that if I allow myself to become a utility, all it's going to do is make me more depressed than what I am, and it might take years off of my life. So I'm doing what it is that I need to do to live the best possible life that I can at this point. And people might want to say, "Oh, it sounds like you're complaining and you're whining," but it's like you people are complaining about us getting our passports. And I'm like, why is it that you even care? Like, what is it doing in your personal life? And the only things that I could come up as far as why it is because you look at people like me, men like me, is supplements to your income to take care of these women and their children. That's one thing. Also, another thing that how y'all probably look at us is like we're the buffers to keep certain women away from you. Like we are the ones that's guarding you from having to deal with them. We the ones that have to take those grenades or those bullets, even if the women do look at us as grenades or bullets. And I'm not or belittle women, but I'm just being honest about it. Like you want honesty, I'm going to give you honesty. And honestly, what's going on in society, it isn't working. It's further tearing us apart. So unless you want to accept what's tearing us apart or you don't want to accept it and you still feel like, oh, we're going to do it this way anyway. Well, you're going to keep on getting the same results and more men are going to wake up and say, "Oh, I'm only seen as a utility. Let me get my passport. Because if I'm going to be a utility, I'm going to at least be a utility to somebody with." And that's what it is. The toothpaste is out of the tube, as they say. And it's too late to turn back because at this point, I know that it's a lot of people that's starting to figure out my viewpoints around where I live at. They know, and I'm not going to pretend like they don't know. Like I just had a debate with a woman last night who is in a relationship with one of my friends, and she was trying to dig some information out of me, and I knew that she was digging information out of me, and I was just hitting her with the truth bombs. And I could tell she didn't like the truth bombs, but hey, it is what it is. Like I'm not going to lie just to appease your ego. And I mean, society is already heading in a really negative direction until we figure out how it is that we can live with each other and tolerate each other. This situation is going to continue to get worse. And I've pretty much checked out of being the Captain Save 'em for the community because they don't want to be saved. They want to keep everything the same exact way. They don't want to see things get better. I'm talking as a whole. I understand there's men like me or women that agree with me that's in the same community, but I'm looking at the majority. And the majority is like, no, it is what it is. It's going to stay this way. And I'm saying that if it's going to stay that way, I need to get the hell away from it. I know I can't do a lot just yet in my life because I made so many mistakes that I've had to rebuild myself up. But I'm intelligent enough to know that there's an issue going on. And if I don't get away from it, it'll possibly destroy me. And so, with being understanding and my wisdom growing, because I'm not going to say I'm wise yet, I will say that my wisdom is growing at this point because, hey, I'm 40 years old. Like, I was going to have to like deal with this situation eventually anyway. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm learning how to deal with the negativities that come with life because everybody has something that's going wrong in their life. And it's still up to us to figure out what is the best course of action for us to take. And a lot of people might not agree with it, but at the end of the day, you have to say screw those people because they don't have to live. in the body that you're in. They don't have to have the mindset and the mind frame that you have. They don't have to battle the negative thoughts that's going on in your brain. Because I know I have to battle negative thoughts that goes on in my brain about myself on a daily basis. I have to pray. I have to thank the Most High because the Most High forces me to get up every morning and He allows me to get up. Because there's some days where I don't want to get up. But when God opens up my eyes, it's like, hey, you're up. You got something to do. Go ahead and do it. And there are some days when I really like being able to be alive and to do certain things. And He allows me to get up to where I could do that. Well, anyway, I've been going on this subject a lot. Like I said, I don't have any issues with anybody and how they live their lifestyle. Like, if a man wants to marry a woman with a whole bunch of children with different men, hey, that's on him. If he want to marry a woman that he's not sexually attracted to, that's on him. If he want to allow other men to copulate with his wife, that's on him. If he want to be a what they call a munch, that's on him. As long as it's not me. That's all I'm saying. And don't place me in those categories because I'm not in those categories. And I'm not going to allow myself to be in those categories. And this is just me standing up for myself personally. I don't take anything personal. Like, if you want to spread rumors and lies about me, go ahead. I understand. It's a part of the territory of living. But with that being said, my name is just Bob Bowman. Have a nice evening.